today.
Yo, I only have 15 minutes, so.
So you're saying get into it right away?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's
Jump
go.
into it.
Let me
Let's do
set
it.
a
Yes, you
I'm
can
setting a
edit.
reminder because I don't want to forget.
Well, you don't want to get too into it. It's good. It's like halachas. You don't want to get too into learning to be distracted. Pride and arrogance? Is that what we're doing? Oh my gosh. Okay.
What time
Fifth
are we gonna
reading.
have today? 12 minutes. Yeah. Oh my God.
Fifth reading, Leviticus 13:29 through 39. Special laws apply to tsaras that appears on the head.
A lesion, right?
Okay.
Bill, but I told you to ask Isaac, it's a sign that I'm saying no. Next way. Maybe later.
Already?
Yes.
Yeah. What does it mean? There's different kind of laws tsaras on the head, probably because of the hair. So they're because of the hair. That's why you're tati. Tati. Wow.
Isaac is a thrust.
No. It's not tsaras. We've discussed in the past that tsaras basically was happened to a person that was generally very, very perfect. Besides for the fact that he had certain areas that he wasn't careful in. And the idea of tsaras is to kind of remind him. Here, I think, is another reason why.
Pass. Shalom, you're not allowed to pass. Already started the minute.
What?
Keep saying a lot.
Can you guys stop this? It's annoying. A little bit.
And say something annoying.
I always think oh, I'm gonna pass.
You told him to pass. No, try again. It's not his fault that he had the farts. No. Sometimes he just has a fart.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I say? I think he did. He passed. I want to say something. I was astounded.
Wait, no, you can't say it. Yeah. Do you really want me to pass your time?
Yeah, I don't
You
know.
just
Like I say
pass.
pass, and you're playing games. Does it look like I'm gonna say something?
Yeah.
You just said something.
Pass.
All right.
So why? Talk about the reason why you want to
Oops,
pass.
your turn.
Give us another. So we're sitting over here by FiveAlive. You know, it's not my spot. You know where my Isaac is kind of my spot, but you know, it's good to lend out your spot once a year. Isaac, is this FiveAlive gonna happen during break? Isaac, is it gonna be here in your house? Isaac, I'll make a deal with you right now. 2-year-old able to grab on this deal. I will daven for a minute a day to drive me to the airport on Tuesday. The catch is it's during class. It's during breakfast / first class time. For a minute a day for the whole break. Even on Yom Tov when I am not interested in davening. And I'm going to be pissed off at them. Say they're... I will still down for me. If you were to you could both pick up the deal. Drive me to the airport. Isaac, you're in? Thinking about it.
I like it. Tuesday afternoon. Yeah.
No, at 10. I have to leave at 10 o'clock.
No problem.
You'll do it too?
I'm in.
What about your first class?
What about him? I'll work it out. Maybe I'll go to Rabbi Isaac.
Isaac, you're able to have it?
Let's see.
So what I wanted to say was I was astounded that Shalom was about to really say something. And then just like by fluke, I mean, if you don't mind, the passing of gas was quite loud. It's not like nobody assumed that something else happened. But like, to me, it represented so much of life. It's like the guy's holding something. He doesn't have, okay, I'm going to say something real. Boom. You know, it's like, and he shot it. Am I right? Was that something that I sensed, or am I totally off? Totally off. Totally off? Okay, I made a mistake. Yeah, that's one thing that astounded me.
Yeah, I gave it to you.
And another thing is, Coops, you want FiveAlive to happen during break, but FiveAlive is happening right now. And the magic of FiveAlive is the ability for me to listen, to really get a window into people's lives. And it's also the ability to share real things that they're going through. I mean, it takes bravery, but it heals everyone in the room. It's interesting. I think it's the Rebbe Isaac. If you could get the quotes in the Rebbe Rashab, and when someone speaks of a struggle in front of a group of people, he heals the entire group. So it's a quote in the Kutei Diburim. We have to find it. And it has to be like, and it has to be known, like the lashon of the Rashab. So
Good gesagt. I think that
No,
it doesn't matter.
could I sit between you guys? Would that help?
it doesn't matter a lot, like
No,
the
sitting
attitude that you have.
You love sitting next to each other.
So like you could have like one FiveAlive somehow that everybody's cheering and pouring out the hearts. You can have another one that you just. I think that the attitude is a big deal, and it probably is a responsibility of, well, obviously the participants, but I think the person running it. So for example, in this one, it would be me. I think. I don't know, maybe whatever. But pride and arrogance. If a man or a woman has a lesion on the head. So it was just a guy leading me to like either put other people down or put myself down. Those were like the only two options. So I just realized I should stop speaking. All right, pass.
So you're gearing up to say something. I know how you feel personally attacked by today's daily wisdom, so I'm not gonna read it right now. But certain pride and arrogance, and I was like, if I was a perfect person, and we were in the times of the Beis Hamikdash right now, a big white spot would start forming right here. But I'm not perfect, and we're not in the times. But yeah, at least I have the capabilities. Yeah, whatever. Like, I see where my attitude was coming from, and it was definitely from there. My attitude in general comes from there. I make things about me a lot. Like, if we're talking about like being honest, like I do make things about me a lot, like more than I realize. And I've been trying to like focus on not making my day about myself, but it gets so hard. Like, I'm tired every day. I try to take naps just so like I can refresh, but then I catch myself like doing things that like are just about me instead of like going out of my way to make sure things are getting done that need to be done that aren't about me. And it's very, very difficult. It's very difficult. Like, but I guess it's a long process.
First of all, it would be a red spot because you're an agent. That would pop here. What did I want? Nothing. Isaac, but I feel like if I pour out my heart, you're gonna have to spend an hour and a half building me back up. Isaac, I would not want to pour out my heart on camera, right, where every single person in the world could see it. It's not. Yeah. Yeah, I think we got tired of. I'm like on the turn off mode from school. Like, it's like 5 days before turn off. Like then there's a test, important one that turns you back on. And then tonight I could technically turn off school learning mode. But we should hopefully extend it till Monday. Tuesday, I think it's like, like it's gonna be a boring / amazing morning because that's gonna give some nice wisdom before I get on the plane and then out.
So something I know about myself is, first of all, I think that the idea when someone says, "Oh, throughout the day I'm tired," it means they're doing the right thing. Because we're not tired when we're doing the wrong thing. They're not exhaustion, all those issues when doing the right thing. You know, that's to me something I noticed about myself. So first of all, you know, Coops and Shalom, you're doing the right thing. With Isaac, I like that you were able to stop yourself from self-berating, something I could learn. And I saw you were like, I'm either going to bash someone else or myself. I'm just going to pass or whatever. I like that. Shalom, you held up the FiveAlive this morning. Without you, there would have been no FiveAlive. You caused people to have a very productive morning and turn around their day. So pat yourself on the shoulder for that. It's a big accomplishment to be the guy to set it up. And that's all about helping others. Like, that's not about you. You want to stay in bed. And you pushed yourself. You got out of bed with other people. Yeah, I'm wondering about this arrogance. Like, am I an arrogant person? I have to ask myself, like, right? Do I think of myself as better than others? Even though God created me, God created other people, and only God knows the master plan.
Yo, that was so funny.
The eruption of tsaras on the head. Good luck.
Good luck. Thanks.
Eruption of tsaras in the head is caused by self-pride and arrogance, as opposed to tsaras elsewhere on the body, which is the result of gossip or slander. The reason for this difference is that gossip and slander are superficial misdeeds, as explained above, which therefore affect the skin elsewhere on the body. Pride and arrogance, in contrast, are warped mental attitudes that affect the head. We should continuously strive to eliminate these character imperfections. It is volume 27, page 99. I was wondering what he's going to actually say about it. That last line is what answered me. It's not like we should eliminate these character imperfections. So he added that we should continuously strive to eliminate these character imperfections. That's an ongoing thing. It's not like I'm doing it once and I get it done and that's it. It's something that I'm always working on. Mode of living. That's what I think it is. Like, the way that I live is that I look for where is my arrogance and I try to work on it. So I understand.
You'll never pass a full minute. Ever. Never gonna happen. Kind of a challenge, but I would also pass 5 minutes because I would just want to see it, but not like actually miss hearing you speak, you know. I got really happy for a second. I was thinking to myself, like, instead of like always getting caught, like, especially in certain places, at home and here, I've had a lot of challenges. Like, Wilkes-Barre was a fresh place, so pretty much only had good experiences there. But over here and at home, I feel like I get caught up within myself and like in my surroundings. And I was thinking, like, maybe I should just stop comparing myself to what I want to be and just compare myself to what I was. And like, I just did it for a second. I was thinking, like, how did I deal with whatever I'm dealing with today versus how I would have dealt with it like even a few months ago. And it's a completely different reaction. And the follow-up to it feels way better than the reaction I would have had then. And now it's not a reaction, it's or whatever, I don't know, the other thing. Taking real action. Reaction versus real action.
Shalom, thank you for that contemplation. Yeah, I like the chassid who he used to say to Zaytahari, I'm like the top chassid. You think you're going to get this top chassid to sin? Like, he would use his, like, arrogance and his pride to, like, pick his Zaytahari out of the window. You think this guy is able to meditate on thoughts of sin. Like, no way. Like he and it's interesting because like pride, it could also like keep a person alive. You know, like if a guy has no self-healthy image, you know, like something to be proud about. I don't know. I guess again the issue is when warped mental attitudes. I think it's like a person who's not being realistic about I don't know, about who he is and what he's needed for. And yeah. I don't know, because if I don't have a healthy self-image, then I'm not able to do what I need to do. Pride actually helps me in a very practical way. You know, Jewish pride. You know, you got to keep that keep on your head. You know, I remember on this Shabbos, I got hit with like a test. Take off your gartel. I was in the park and I started feeling weird wearing my gartel.
So that's a good point and a good question. So, what is self-pride and arrogance? What's self-pride? Because obviously it's not saying don't have a good self-image. It's not saying don't have self-confidence. Obviously, that's not what we're learning here. He's saying self-pride and arrogance, so let's figure out what that is. Just like gossip and slander is not telling you don't talk. It's telling you don't talk gossip or don't slander. Not telling you don't talk. So here, I think it's the same thing. It's self-pride and arrogance. Doesn't mean don't feel good about yourself. Doesn't mean don't feel self-confidence. So what does it mean? Based on Torah, I think that it means when you view yourself as separate. That means, right? Like Moshe Rabbeinu, he didn't have self-confidence. So he took a lot of people out of Egypt. He did some amazing things he's done. I don't think he did that without self-confidence. But yet he was the most humble person on the face of the earth. So why is that? And Chassidus explains that to us. The reason why he was humble is because he attributed everything to God. Right?
Including his self-confidence. Yeah. We're not denying what we have. We're accepting what we have for what it is. Just saying it's all God. Not only ourselves, but also everything around us. And getting to see that perspective all the time is not easy. I think the emotions are the thing. No, I thought that emotions are like games. It's all mind games for us. So easy to get caught up and like think that like now is forever and there's nothing going to change, when in reality it's not like that, and we know that if we just gave it like, you know, a second to think about it. Not like really, like whenever I think of like I'm in a very tough spot and I just give it a second and I think like in the grand scheme of things, like really, like this doesn't even matter actually. Like nothing matters in the grand scheme of things, meaning like for me, like I'm just gonna feel different another time and then that will take up my whole reality. But what I can do is make myself feel better now and then prepare for a time later where I won't be in such a good headspace that I'm able to even go out of myself and think. That'll create like a spot in my head where I'm always able to go and always just relax with whatever's going on. I think it's important. And it's tied into Chassidus.
So I was reading in the El Chayal magazine. Is that it? The Tzivos Hashem. Like the author was astounded. Like he was young and he went into shul and he sees like this biggest rav of the town just jump out of his chair in the middle of his learning and just greet like the simplest pet, like farmer, you know, and like jump over to this farmer. I don't remember what it was, and just start kissing him. And the guy was like still like not clean, like straight from the farm, you know, like, and like kissing him and saying, "I'm so jealous of your simplicity, and your simplicity reaches the highest, you know, the essence, you know," and like just the Alter Rebbe being used to like the city where he grew up in, where like the Torah scholars were honored and the simple folk were like disregarded. and like that concept. So I like what you said. Like the problem with pride and arrogance is when it separates me from other people. That's when the problem kicks in. I think that's when you know it's an issue. Yeah. I know that like for me, food, it's like it's really a struggle. It's like I could think about God and then you put food in front of me, try to think about God while I'm eating. That's a whole different story. It's like try to have healthy self-confidence and still intermingle and
I think that it's the opposite. I mean, what we're calling healthy self-confidence is that I'm basing it on the Eibishter. That means that any gifts that I have and any capabilities that I have is that Hashem gives it to me. And He's enabling me to do it. So therefore, arrogance not only from other people, but also from God, right? That I think that I'm separate from God. So the only place that Hashem can't be, right, is a place of arrogance. Why? Because if we can't both be there, if you're there, so then I can't be there, right? So to speak. So arrogance is separating myself from Hashem as well. But it doesn't mean that I have to be a shmata. So it means that I have to have a self-confidence, but it's based on Hashem, because Hashem gave me these gifts. Hashem, so therefore it won't contradict. It's impossible for it to contradict. It's only from Hashem. So it can't contradict other people. It can't contradict doing Torah mitzvahs. So I just feel good about myself. Basically, I feel good about what I am accomplishing. I forgot exactly what I wanted to say there, but that was the point. So it's interesting how he says how gossip and slander are just superficial misdeeds. Meaning they're always like two opposites. There's the external, right? It's only external, but it's actually the action. And then there's like the internal, which is like
feel you're listening to me. I appreciate it. Like always responding. I feel good about that. Yeah, like I remember when we were learning Tanya for a little bit, Mechaverse and Wilkes-Barre. So we basically reached the conclusion that like God was creating this world so He can create like beings that were part of Him, but not aware that they had their own awareness and their own being, their own sense of self. And to be arrogant is, like you said, contradicting that completely. And I was basically like, I call it like some sort of afterglow of like what was like all the drug use I had, and I was basically like seeing things in a very, very strong, like very strongly in a different perspective. And I was like thinking to myself like how much I would pay to just be like someone who's never touched this stuff, like never had like, because I felt like I had like some sort of different awareness for like a big period of time. And I was like thinking like, how nice would it be just to be like someone who never did it, didn't have the awareness, just was.
I think that would be worse. Wondering what, sometimes, it's our life experiences contribute in a very interesting way. It's interesting because I was standing here and I had a lot to say, and I was like, wait, right after Isaac said something, but it's Shalom's turn, so I took like a deep breath, like clean that out and be a vessel, and then you complimented me, and then I got thrown off because I was like, ooh, compliment, dude, that felt good. And I went over, I was like, come on, get back in. Oh, it's funny. I'm gonna pass.
Wow. That's great. So getting a compliment makes that you don't even have to do it anymore. It's like, right? Because it's not true. He was complimenting you on listening. And I guess he helped you listen. If not, you would have been focusing on what you wanted to say. That's very good. But I kind of agree with what Reb Tzvi is saying, is that Yeska told this to me. I mean, he said it in a different way, but he He said it a bunch of times. He says anything in the past, that's completely God's fault. And anything in the present or the future, that's up to you. So like if I did it already, obviously it's a shgacha pratis. You're saying it's not. Like Hashem, didn't arrange it, of course. It happened. So Hashem let it happen. It's completely on him. So I really like that way of thinking. But Reb Tzvi in the beginning, a few years ago, if you remember, you were very into everybody having their journey. Remember that? Like, look, this is your journey. You go on your journey. Like this is your path. You do your path. Everybody has their experiences that you got to go through. So, feeding the wolf.
I meant to do that. No, just kidding. It's interesting. I'm just like thinking like I wouldn't admit that, or probably wouldn't admit that. Like I get a compliment, and I'm like, I'm good. No, I don't need to say my. It's almost as if like in my head, it's like as if saying like I need to say it for myself, like to feel good, Like that's why you wanted to say it. But I'd still love to hear. I think just because you feel good about it doesn't mean we can't feel good about it either. So we're speaking about right here. If it's just about yourself, then it's not a good thing. But I actually like this a lot. Right, we can feel good. There's nothing wrong with feeling good. But, like doing things that are harmful to myself and also not doing anything for others, like doing things on my own usually. That's usually where it starts and ends. Like doing things on my own. That's not where it ends, but like that's when I get into trouble because there's nobody else involved and it's just for myself. Unless it's like, work. But.
So interesting. Today's sikha of the Rebbe on the daily sikha, and the Rebbe says that Hasheichin itam b'teich tumasam. Like when the Jewish people are united, Hashem doesn't care if they're impure. The Rebbe gets into this whole halachic ramifications that like when people are eating, you have to be very careful. Is the guy a Talmud Chacham? Could I eat with him? Is he pure? Is he not? But when all the Jewish people go to Yerushalayim, Hashem completely throws out the laws of Tumah and Tara. Everyone is on the level of Chaver. Everyone is on the level of Talmud Chacham. You could sit and eat with everyone. Now they leave Yerushalayim, they go back to Tumah. What happened? And the Rebbe says, how could they go back to Tumah? Were they pure or were they not pure? And the Rebbe says, God doesn't care. When the Jews are in Yerushalayim and they're all sitting together, God's like, I'm with you guys. Shechein u'mislabish, like he's completely in, completely having a good time, revealing himself to us, even though we're impure, which is crazy. So, like, I think that this has to do with arrogance and pride. Like Rabbi Isaac was saying, like, the only thing God can't take is that separateness, And what's interesting is that, and this is what I wanted to say to Rabbi Isaac, it gets tough when you're working so hard to be good and you have an opinion of what God needs in the world, and then someone else, that's the funniest part. It's like, it's like a tati and a mommy. It gets tough.
Wow. Thank you very much for that power session of FiveAlive. And I think we'll wrap it up. We want Mashiach now.
Amen.
We don't want to wait.
We don't have to wait.